So I figured this episode needed a little bit more soul to it. So once I finally bought myself this new microphone, I decided to re-record it. So welcome to the first reimagined version of the ALeeT Podcast, where we're going to be talking about spiritual wellness. So, welcome back to the ALeeT Podcast, where real talk meets real transformation. I'm your host, Mr. ALeeT. Over the last 3 episodes, we discussed 3 of the 4 wellness pillars: physical wellness with Carl Music and the Resilient Knicks, mental wellness with Kareem Mamanatu, aka the Shogun of Shadow Work, and social wellness with Dave Susko. We tied all of them into spiritual wellness. So today I'm supposed to talk about spiritual wellness, but honestly, I feel spiritually drained. So I'm not going to teach you from the mountaintop. Instead, I'm going to walk with you from the valley. And maybe that's the most spiritual thing we can do today. Tell the truth. So what is spiritual wellness? Spiritual wellness is the dimension of alignment between your beliefs, values, purpose, and actions. It's not about religion. It's about what grounds you. Spiritual wellness can exist with or without religion. What matters most is that there is some center to your being that helps you rise when you fall and rebuild when you feel broken. Why do you get up in the morning? Why do you seek healing? Why do you continue to grow? That's the core of this discussion. It's not about perfection. It's about alignment. That's what spiritual wellness is really about. Understanding who you are and living in a way that aligns with that truth, your truth. So let's start off talking about religion, faith, and some belief systems. As I said previously, you don't have to be religious to be spiritual, but if you are, understanding how your faith intersects with the rest of your wellness can be transformative. Let's break down just a few global religions and how they contribute to overall well-being when practiced in healthy, balanced ways. Christianity, community service, self-sacrifice, and redemption form a core part of many Christian traditions. Scripture like Galatians 6 verse 2, carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ. Encourages believers to help others, building strong community support systems that support mental and social health. Islam. Muslims pray 5 times a day in a posture of humility and mindfulness. The daily prayer, or salat, provides consistency and discipline, but also improves posture and circulation. Surah Al-Baqarah 2 verse 286 says, Allah does not burden a soul beyond that it can bear, which instills spiritual resilience. Judaism. The value of tikkun olam, or repairing the world, promotes active responsibility in social justice and self-reflection. The Shema, a declaration of faith and love for God, is recited daily as a grounding spiritual practice. Hinduism. Deeply holistic. Hindu practices integrate Ayurveda, which balances physical health, doshas, mental peace through meditation and mantra, and spiritual elevation, yoga, and connection to the divine. The Bhagavad Gita emphasizes dharma, life purpose, with Krishna stating, "It is better to live your own destiny imperfectly than to live in imitation of somebody else's life with perfection." Buddhism. Technically a philosophy, not a religion, Buddhism teaches non-attachment and mindfulness. The 4 Noble Truths and Eightfold Path serve as a roadmap to reduce suffering. The Dhammapada states, what we are today comes from our thoughts of yesterday, making self-awareness a spiritual responsibility. Taoism. Rooted in harmony with nature and the Tao, or the way, Taoism emphasizes going with the flow of life rather than forcing outcomes. As the Tao Te Ching says, when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. This kind of surrender cultivates peace and resilience. paganism, and indigenous traditions. These often prioritize communion with nature, lunar cycles, and rituals tied to seasons. Grounding practices like walking barefoot or herbal cleansing help people feel connected to the earth, healing through sacred relationship rather than dominance. Ultimately, each belief system offers a route to self-understanding, healing, and purpose. The key is avoiding extremism and integrating wisdom, not dogma, into your life. Some alternative spiritual practices, both secular and scientific. You don't need a religion to be spiritual. I've said that 3 times already, but let's really hammer that in here. Some of the most powerful practices that support spiritual wellness are deeply secular, supported by science and rooted in intention. Yoga. More than fitness, yoga is the union of breath, body, and mind. Studies have shown that regular yoga practice reduces cortisol levels, enhances vagal tone or nervous system calm, and improves mood. It's moving meditation. It's devotion in motion. Journaling and affirmations. Writing helps declutter the mind. According to research published in the journal Advances in Psychiatric Treatment, expressive writing boosts immune function and reduces symptoms of depression. Affirmations help rewire negative self-beliefs. Mantras and breath work. Mantras are intentional sound vibrations. Whether you're saying, "I am enough," or "so hum," you're rewiring your brain. Breath work, like the 4-7-8 technique, slows the heart rate and activates the parasympathetic nervous system, known as the rest and digest state. Rituals, lighting a candle before journaling, saying a phrase before sleep, pouring tea with full attention. Rituals are not superstition. They're a way to encode meaning into the mundane. Neuroscientists have found that rituals reduce anxiety and increase a sense of control. Energetic hygiene. You clean your house, why not your spirit? Think of spiritual decluttering as emotional hygiene, detoxing guilt, fear, shame, and exhaustion through practices that bring clarity and peace. Research from UCLA's Mindful Awareness Research Center shows that mindfulness practices enhance emotional regulation, which is key to spiritual resilience. For me, it's music. And I bet for a lot of you, it's music too. Think about the concerts you've been to, singing with strangers at the top of your lungs, doing air guitar with your buddies, holding up imaginary microphones. Suddenly, you're all one tribe. That's unity in action, and it's cathartic as hell. Music connects us, it heals us, it gives us mantras. How many relationships have started with a mixtape, a burned CD, or nowadays a playlist? This song reminds me of you. That's more than romance. It's spiritual connection. It's soul work. And I think about what Taylor Swift said on the New Heights podcast. Her dad would be downstairs watching the Eagles play while she was upstairs with her guitar, living inside the music. Music wasn't just entertainment. It was her everything, her vice, her mantra. And that's the point. What works for Taylor can work for you. It doesn't have to be music. It could be sports. It could be painting. It could be Dungeons and Dragons. It could be musicals. Shout out to my daughter, Maddie. It could be literally anything that feeds your spirit. Whatever your thing is, own it, share it, build your tribe around it. That's where soul work happens. That's where your mantra is born. And that's where you stop just surviving life and start living it. Now, back on the topic of spiritual decluttering, I have a little checklist for you. When you're spiritually overwhelmed, it's often because you're carrying too much, emotionally, physically, and or mentally. For physical decluttering, clear your space, your home environment. Your home environment mirrors your internal environment. A cluttered space can raise cortisol. Create sacred space, even a corner of peace. Candles, incense, prayer beads. I have a diffuser. These things work. It sends signals to your brain that you've entered a different headspace. Release possessions. Letting go of emotionally burdensome objects does free energy. So for mental and emotional decluttering, identify limiting thoughts. What are the recurring scripts that sabotage your growth? Remember we were talking about this under the mental health piece with Kareem. Forgive yourself, forgive others, forgive even God if you need to, and if you so believe. Journal and breathe. This is about making space inside, not just outside. Some spiritual practices that help. Daily silence or stillness, even 5 minutes. Gratitude journaling. And hey, we have Thanksgiving coming up in a couple of months here, about 3 months. So you could share what you're thankful for. And you've already started. You've already got this nice journal that you started way back in July, August. So connecting with nature, go barefoot, hug a tree, feel the sun, or as these Gen Zers that are always talking to me like to say, go touch grass. Prayer if it grounds you, meditation if it centers you. Benefits of decluttering: increased focus, improved mood, emotional regulation, renewed sense of meaning, spiritual clarity. Those all sound nice, right? I'm not trying to sell you something that you don't need. Now, if you've been experiencing soul fatigue, what some people call existential exhaustion, this could be your wake-up call. Do not ignore it. Address it. Even if it means slowing down, your soul needs rest too. So how does this integrate with the other pillars? Well, let's talk about that. Spiritual wellness doesn't sit on an island. It enriches everything else. For physical, prayer and fasting promote discipline. Sunlight boosts serotonin and vitamin D. Grounding outdoors enhances immune function and muscle recovery. For mental, meaning reduces burnout. Clarity reduces anxiety. Spiritual wellness strengthens emotional coping, especially when rooted in something larger than self. And that's why my generation has always asked, why? It's for that mental clarity. We have to have that purpose. For social, shared beliefs create belonging. Values-driven friendships last longer. Spiritual communities offer accountability, compassion, and continuity. You find your why, and then you find your tribe. That's the power of alignment. So for my personal story, in order to feel grounded, I must go to one of my favorite places in the world, or at least imagine it. This is something that I picked up in therapy doing EMDR, and it really works for me. EMDR is something that you do if you have post-traumatic stress disorder to kind of help you figure out where those feelings are coming from, if it's actually rooted in that issue or if it is rooted further into something that you don't remember because you've pushed it so far down inside you and you've never been able to deal with it, hold it, talk about it, any of that kind of thing. So the first thing that I thought of when I started doing EMDR was my second favorite place on earth, Palmer Park in Colorado Springs at sunset. So here's what I'll do. Remember we were talking about that physical decluttering earlier? So I'll clear a space. Generally, I'll come either to my room, or if I'm on the couch where I'm watching TV and I just can't take anything anymore, I'll turn off all the electronics, or at least lock my phone and put it far away from me. And I'll close my eyes and cross my legs, put my arms in a butterfly pose across my chest, tap, 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 and just breathe. And this is what I do. I inhale the blue sky that turns golden. I exhale dark skies with hail and thunder. I inhale that infamous purple mountain majesty. I exhale knee pain. I inhale the evergreen, the pines, the aspens. I exhale generational trauma. I inhale the quiet. I exhale judgment. I recenter my mantras. I recalibrate my Moscow list. I remind myself of all the different things that I have going on for me, especially this new thing that I've created called SPUG, Strength, Power, Unity, Growth. And if I just repeat that to myself over and over again, it centers me. And then I think about the mantra that goes along with it: salubrious positivity, upholding goals. And like I said, it's more than a catchy acronym, it's a way of life. I prioritize what I must, should, could, and would like to have. And I adjust each day. Inhale purpose, exhale noise. Inhale alignment, exhale everything that doesn't fit. So what gives your life meaning beyond metrics? What lights your fire beyond your followers, paychecks, and resumes? This week's journaling prompt is simple. What does my soul need most right now? I want you to write it down, or speak it aloud, or text it to someone. But what I really want you to do is get on Instagram at @ALeeT_podcast. Look for my post regarding this episode and tell us, tell everyone what's going on in your life that we can help and push to get better. Tell us what your mantras are. Tell us about you, because we want to know. But whatever you do, don't ignore it. I'm re-recording this episode for a reason, and that reason is you. So until next time, stay SPUG and ALeeT.